Good morning, everyone. So, if you see, like currently, the internet is delivered through two prominent wireless technologies, Wi-Fi and the 4G, 5G mobile data. And FWA combines the benefits of both to deliver the internet connectivity to the end user. So, when we talk about FWA, basically it's a wireless broadband technology that provides high speed internet to fixed locations such as homes. So, like you might be thinking, how it is different from a normal mobile. So, what is different in case of the FWA is the location is fixed. So, that gives FWA a lot of advantage. First, in terms of the location. So, if you see the normal mobiles, they have the omnidirectional antennas, while in case of FWA, we make use of directional antennas towards the cellular base towers, which improves the connection. And also, like we need not be worried about the power constraints which are there when we are working with a mobile phone. Like we need to optimize the power. We cannot be operating on a higher power all the time because in case of FWA, the device is powered through the mains. So there are no restrictions in terms of power. So this gives FWA an advantage in providing the broadband connectivity, and it leverages the existing cellular infrastructure. So there is not like we need not have a separate infrastructure to be laid for the FWA to be operating. As the operators are expanding their 4G and 5G mobile network, the same can be used for the FWA to provide the internet connectivity to the end user. And again, the thing is, I think all of us would have faced that whenever we have shifted to a new location, typically the installation of the fiber based router takes some time. There has to be some laying work done. It all depends, like fiber is there available till how much. Within how much distance of your area. But in case of FWA, those challenges are not there. Basically, as it depends upon the operator network infrastructure, it can be easily installed. So the FWA is primarily delivered through the operator's existing network infrastructure. It makes use of the operator's core network elements, which takes care of the authentication. It makes use of the operator's radio access network, which takes care of the transmission over the 4G and the 5G LTE bands. And the most important component, the FWA CPE. So the FWA CPE is a dedicated hardware which needs to focus only on getting the broadband connection. So it need not focus on, like if you see, compare it with a normal mobile. So in case of a normal mobile, like the mobile also has to take care about the user experience and the other aspects, optimizing the apps. But in case of an FWA CP, the whole focus is on getting the maximum broadband connectivity. So that helps the FWA CP to optimize on the maximum performance that what it can get from the network. And when we compare FWA with the fiber, definitely, like as I said, so the speeds may not be, as good as that of fiber in terms of like in fiber, we can even go beyond the Gbps speed. But then the main factor is the installation time, like quickly it can be installed. And the coverage is wide, like you are not dependent upon the fiber laid till what point to get the coverage through the FWA. And the capex and the opex cost, I think, like in case of fiber, all of us would have seen that repairing the fiber, locating where the fault happened, it involves a lot of cost. So those costs are actually avoided when we make use of the FWA. And as it is leveraging the existing network infrastructure of the operator, it is expanding quite rapidly in comparison to the fiber broadband options. So the FWA, like for the backhaul, it is making use of the operator's existing 4G, 5G network. So as these networks, as these technologies have evolved, the same benefits are being reaped by the FWA as well. So with the evolution of technologies, we have moved to higher channel bandwidths, which have resulted in higher peak speeds, which is what the FWA also has made use of. Also, in many of the European countries and US, there are 5G deployments in the millimeter wave, which offers very high channel bandwidth. And there, actually, it has been able to achieve very high speeds. In India, though those bands have been acquired by the operators, but there has not been predominant deployments in those frequencies. And then, like, if we see, as I said, the FWA grows along with your mobile technologies. So if we talk about the 5G technologies which enable the FWA, so first is the massive MIMO. So in case of massive MIMO, basically we can schedule multiple users on the same time and frequency resources using multiple streams. And then we have the concept of beamforming, wherein we can have a directed beam towards the user. So all these, like as I said, FWA, the location is fixed. So the usage of technologies such as massive MIMO and beamforming becomes very much feasible for the FWA unit. And in 5G, like if you see across the globe, the operators have gone for MIMO up to 32 transmit, 32 receive configurations, which has really improved the capacity and the coverage. And then carrier aggregation. So one key concept in the mobile technologies has been the flexibility to aggregate multiple channels. So when we started in 4G, the possibility was only up to aggregation of 5 channels. Then moving ahead, it was increased up to 32 channels. Then in 5G, we have aggregation possible up to 16 channels. That is as per the standards. But even on the ground, like what we see that operators aggregate up to 3 component carriers in case of 4G. And in case of 5G, like in millimeter wave, operators have gone ahead and they have aggregated up to 10 carriers, which provides 800 megahertz bandwidth, giving higher speeds. So all these, like as the FWA does not have a power constraint, providing features such as carrier aggregation also becomes easier for the FWA unit to give, providing it a higher throughput. And then, like, they have the advanced modulation schemes. And like, I think this, all of you must be aware, which again provides the higher throughput. And we have in 5G, we have a concept of a network slice that is based upon the service being offered. Like we can actually have like a virtual network slice across the multiple units, providing the end user the service what he wants. So the FWA also can be optimized as per the slice required. We will be covering in the slides ahead that how, as per the different use cases, we can have the FWA slice configured. So like if you see, like in case of the residential use cases, that whenever we use it for home broadband or for the rural remote connectivity, like we will be making use of in 5G the service known as the EMBB, the enhanced mobile broadband slice, wherein we want to provide the higher throughput to the end user. Also, like FWA can be a very good option for vacation homes, wherein we need not have commitments for the entire year and we can just work on seasonal plans. So there is no investment, like very easy self installation. And then it can be also used for enterprise use cases. So even if the enterprises are having currently a fiber connectivity, FWA can always be used as a backup option for connectivity so as to continue with their businesses. For temporary construction sites, FWA can be used wherein there need not be like any investment required. You just want to provide an internet connectivity into the area where you have started construction. You can go with the self-installable FWA and provide the internet connectivity. And for IoT or smart buildings, it can be used for centralized management or real-time monitoring. Again, like for these use cases, wherever like we are providing connectivity to the IoT devices, we can make use of the IoT slice. So the FWA subscription can be different as per the use case. Like we can go for the slice what is required. So even in the agriculture, so these are mainly the use cases in the rural areas, like in the area of agriculture, healthcare, education. So in all these areas, basically, like if you see even in India, like from the year 2011, we have been trying to have the fiber up till the last mile. It has not been made possible. But with the expansion of the 4G, 5G networks, FWA can be easily used to provide that last mile connectivity and bridge the divide. So in the real world, when we go ahead with the deployment of FWA, like some of the factors which we should keep in mind is like what is the area that we want to cover, how many users we want to serve. It is typically as how we deploy a Wi-Fi router. In the same way, we will have to see, even in case of an FWA, how is the signal strength? Like as in the first slide, the person said that there is a lot of signal attenuation which happens, like inside. So then in FWA also, we have different variants of FWA. If the signal coverage is very good inside, we can go with an indoor FWA CP. But if we are finding that there is a significant degradation of the signal, we can have the FWA box split as two boxes, wherein we have the outdoor unit, which takes care of the radio reception and transmission from the mobile network operator, and then the indoor unit, which is typically the Wi-Fi router, which will have the functions as per, again, the deployment requirements. Like assume we are looking at a residential deployment, then the authentication may be simple through a pre-shared key. While if we are looking at an enterprise deployment, all these FWA, these Wi-Fi routers can again be connected to a AAA server to provide the authentication of the end users. So gradually, like if we see the growth of FWA, so this is as per the Ericsson Mobility Report. So there is like almost like a 3x increase in the revenue, which is what is projected in the next 10 years. So, and the expectation is that the 20% of the broadband connectivity will be through the FWA. Even in terms of the connections, like in the next 5 years, basically like that, there is a projection that the number of connections of FWA are going to double. Like that is what in the next 5 years, like that is the projection that is being done. Because considering the ease of installation of the FWA in comparison to having a fiber-based broadband, that ease gives it the flexibility and the power to grow. So now I'll be covering upon some of the key features in 5G Advanced, which have been taken up just to improve like the performance of the FWA CP. So one great advancement which has happened in release 18 is that the FWA CP has been recognized, like that there will be a FWA CP. It is not taken in as the same category as a normal UE. So one feature is the uplink transmit switching, wherein the device can decide based upon the channel conditions that which is the frequency band that it wants to use for the uplink transmission. And then, like the other feature is the wherein we can have multiple transmit chains type of uplink. So for mobiles, the multiple uplink transmit chains have been limited to 3 chains, but in case of the FWA CP, flexibility has been given that it can transmit for up to 8 chains in the uplink. So this will be like very much advantageous, like because if you see these days, even in our residence, when we are making use of the broadband connections, there are a lot of uplink intensive applications that what we make use of. Like we have people are working from home, video conferencing, streaming video from home directly to YouTube. So all these are uplink intensive applications. So with these new features being introduced in the release 18 of the 5G FWA is greatly going to benefit in providing a better throughput for all the uplink applications. Also, we have the feature of low latency, low loss scalable throughput, which takes care of latency. So basically, wherever there is a flooding of packets, assume there is a flooding happening. So right now the packets get dropped. But in case of 5G release 18, a new message has been introduced known as the explicit congestion notification, wherein the receiver identifies that there is a for condition to happen and it informs the originator prior to that, so that the originator can adjust its transmission rate. So that takes care of a lot of the latency is improved and the user experience becomes better with that. So with all these advancements, basically the FWA can provide an enhanced uplink performance. So if you see in case of fiber, one thing that what we see is that the performance is symmetrical over uplink and downlink. Now with these features coming up, even with FWA, the end user will experience a similar experience both for uplink and downlink intensive applications. This is the way. So the evolution of FWA. So the evolution of FWA goes hand in hand with the evolution of the mobile technologies. So as the 4G, 5G technology has evolved, similarly the FWA also has been evolved. But I think the landmark in this case is Release 18. It recognizes the FWA CP as a separate equipment, not keeping it in the category of a normal UE. So that is landmark for the FWA CPE. And in future of FWA, so the growth of FWA is linked with the growth of the mobile technologies, where many of you may be aware that in case of 6G, a lot of research is happening on the usage of the terahertz spectrum for the mobile technologies. So the 6G FWA will have to operate at significantly higher frequencies, the sub-terahertz spectrum. Also in 6G, we are targeting AI native network intelligence. That means like we have each node. So even in case of FWA, like FWA is serving multiple users in an enterprise or in a home broadband connection. So I think as the previous speaker told, that the shifting of the application happens to a different frequency and all of that. Same things will have to be taken over the errors which are established with the card network. So we will have to see, like, based upon that what the user is doing, which quality of service bearer the user data should go. Right now, if you see the existing FWACP implementations, most of these are very static. That is, we predefine certain SSIDs and we say that, okay, any data coming on this SSID should go over this QoS bearer. But in future, the anticipation is that the FWA unit should learn from the data. It should learn from the data that whether this application is a delay tolerant application or it is not a delay tolerant, and what kind of latency should be met. So all these intelligence will have to be incorporated in the 6G FWA unit. Also, like, we have the concept of QIP modeling in 6G, wherein what we say is that all the statistics and all the characteristics of the network are also fed to a simulator. Like, what is the temperature, what is the performance, what is the SINR. All these values are fed to a twin model which simulates the network environment and identifies that, okay, under what conditions failures can happen. So having that twin model, basically the whole maintenance will move from a reactive maintenance to a proactive maintenance. So the FWA will not just remain as an end unit providing the broadband connectivity, but it will also become like more reliable, more intelligent and smart. And even the integration of having the sensors. So this for the sensors, actually, like, more apt will be to take examples with respect to the millimeter wave frequencies, which are very much, they get affected by the climatic conditions. So issuing up sensors wherein you can identify that, okay, due to some storm or due to some high rain, due to some rain, basically my signals are getting affected. Then how can I move to some other spectrum which can provide the end user a better broadband experience? So integrating sensors also into the FWA will make it more reliable.
Even the challenges we have seen with the millimeter wave based WWA, what is driving this, enhancements for sub terahertz, upper mid band, 2471? If do not work in, millimeter wave, what will make it work in the higher frequency ranges?
So, sir, like every technology, it has to go through an evolution cycle. So, when development started in millimeter wave, there were a lot of challenges seen. But over the past 5 to 6 years, many of the OEMs have been able to come up with solutions, making the millimeter wave more rugged. But the thing is, like, as we are going for the higher technologies, the idea is to have more and more, like, bandwidth, because it is not only the mobile devices which are now to be connected, but so many other number of devices for which we require the throughput. So that is the thing. I think, like, as you said initially, like, we have seen some terahertz trials which happen, like, the distance is very small. It will take a time for the technology to develop and like reach some heights, it takes some time. Like in case of millimeter wave, we have seen that it has taken almost 6 to 7 years for the technology now to be deployed even for the higher ranges. Like initially it was told that the millimeter wave will only help work at certain meters, but now some of the OEMs have been able to come up with solutions making the millimeter wave working even 40 kilometer ranges. So same thing, the same cycle the terahertz technology also will have to go through to provide, because main thing, as I said, there are so many devices to be connected. We need the throughput. It's not just the mobile devices anymore. There are the CCTV cameras, so many things, like everything. We are moving into smart solution in almost every aspect of our life. So there are much more throughput requirements are there, which is driving people to explore more in the terahertz frequency domain.
Hi, ma'am. Sorry, Kalyan here. Thanks for explaining FWA and advancements of FWA. My only question is how Wi-Fi and cellular coexistence is going to work. Like, because Wi-Fi uses analyzed spectrum, so will it going to interfere with the cellular signal, or how indoor units are going to handle this?
So if you see, like in case of Wi-Fi, like right now we are having only the 3 bands, while in case of cellular, we are expanding to the other bands as well. And if you talk about coexistence, so I think in 3GPP release 17, they are also talking about there. They are talking about carrier aggregation between the cellular pad and the cellular pads which are deployed on the unlicensed bands. So there has to be, yes, like as you said, like for the coexistence, maybe like some kind of regulations may have to come. Right now there are not many laws or regulations available to streamline, but yes, moving forward there may be some regulations also coming forward to take care of that. But definitely, like I feel that they need to coexist and they are complementing technologies like Wi-Fi. Definitely the advantage that what Wi-Fi provides can never be provided by a cellular connectivity. So they need to coexist, and like FWA is like one of the means to bring both of them together.
Excuse me, ma'am. And thank you. It was a great presentation. I got some partial from the previous questions. Since FWA is heavily relies on the service providers based station, so provided in the rural areas where I don't have the nearby sites, the signal strength is not good. So how this can be effectively applied to rural areas?
Yeah. So I think like what we have to look at is like how can we have combined solutions. So as I said, that one of the areas is the agricultural farming. Like right now, we have not been able to project to the end user the scenarios wherein he can make use of the broadband connectivity. If you see, one thing that we have been seriously lacking, like maybe as a nation, is to incentivize the availability of internet in the rural area. The only use case that the rural consumer understands is that of a phone. But it is very much more than that. Like if you see, there are a lot of problems people face in agriculture these days due to lack of labor. If we can have, the agriculture scenario built as a complete use case, operators will also find an incentive to go there and have their network deployed. Like right now, operators are not going there because they feel that they won't be getting the revenue what they need. But if we are able to have rural based solutions for healthcare, for agriculture, for education, I think that can make, like as a package, we will have to go. Like we cannot go like, like, okay, I'll give the link, you do something. Maybe like we will have to see, like if you see in urban areas, we have like the operators providing, okay, like you take my connection, I give you Amazon, Netflix, all this free. Something like that we will have to have in the rural area as well, where if the operator offers it as a package, we will have to look at ways to incentivize the connectivity to the rural area. But then the thing is, like with FWA, like what I personally feel is that we are relying on the same backhaul infrastructure. We are not looking at paying two different infrastructures and maintaining them. So that makes it easy is what I feel. So we will have to look at some ways by which we can incentivize broadband connectivity in the rural area by having packages, as I said, for the various use cases, be it for agriculture, education. I think all of us are aware that it is very rare to find good teachers in the rural schools. So if we can have certain packages wherein, the children are taught remotely through video conferencing and they get access to the latest education, that would be good. So we will have to look it up as a package, so that we can, have something for the operator to go into the rural market.
Hi.
Hi.
Can I ask? So recently, an operator has mentioned that they would like to go with an 8.11 solution for the licensed millimeter wave. Do you have any studies from your side or comments as to why that approach, given that, as you said, people are improving their solutions?
No, sorry, like I have not come across that, but I'll try to go through that and identify that what have been the motivation for them to go on 802.11 for the millimeter wave.